KICI-LP 105.3 FM is Iowa City's nonprofit local radio station. We rely on listener support, and you can help us continue to air great programming like Democracy Now!, Great Taste, Green Room IC, The Situation Room, and This Way Out by making a one-time donation or setting up a recurring donation at our website, KICIRadio.org. Just click on the donate button and become part of the team. KICI-LP. Low power, high impact.
Coming up on the Green Room IC, Beverly Mead interviews the director and some cast members from Dreamwell Theatre about The Book of Will, a production staged at the James Theatre in Iowa City. Joining Bev are Adrian Miller, Rip Russell, and Ray Vanek. The interview was recorded using Zoom on November 12th, 2022. Editor's note, as a result of using Zoom, there are a few spots where the audio drops out.
I was an English major in college, but sort of a secret theater major.
We did a lot of research, and through our research, we realized how much of the comedy in this show is what actually happens.
Dreamwell is a theater of exploration, which I think means exploring new places to try to do a play. Because they had first done shows all over. I know the first play I saw with Dreamwell was in the Old Capitol Mall, one of the empty storefronts.
Welcome to another episode of the Green Room IC. My guests today are Adrian Miller, director of Dreamwell Theatre's upcoming production of The Book of Will, along with Rip Russell and Ray Vanek, who portrayed John Hemingus and Henry Condell, respectively. Welcome. Now, our audience always likes to know who's behind the mic. So would you each please tell us a little bit about yourselves, where you're from, what brought you to Iowa City, what your background in theater might be. Adrian, let's start with you.
Absolutely. So I'm Adrian Miller. I work full-time during the day with the UI Center for Advancement, working in fundraising research. But I earned my degree in theater from Truman State University in 2005, and then moved to Iowa City in 2010. And then I've been here ever since. I have done lots of community theater, mostly backstage, since I got here.
All right. Rip, let's hear a little bit about you.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Rip Russell, and I've been in a long time Iowa City, and I came here in 1977 to go to college, and I have a degree in theater arts, and I've stayed the whole time. I've lived this community, so I've been here doing community theater in various ways with lots of different theaters in the last 45 years. Gosh, it goes fast. And currently I am unemployed because I've retired from the University of Iowa.
Congratulations.
Hospitals and clinics. Thank you. Janice and I both in March, although we're both still doing a little bit of part-time work because they just have trouble keeping people over there in this work environment. People get hired and they move on to other things. So we're doing a little bit of work, but I'm thrilled to be part of this production. I've worked a number of times with Dreamwell, and golly, we're up against it, and I can't wait till next weekend. So that's a little bit about me.
Excellent. And Ray, tell us who you are.
I'm Ray Vanek. I grew up in Chicago, went to college at Grinnell College, about an hour away from here. Mm-hmm. And while I was in college, Iowa City was the place to come for the culture, because Grinnell is a very small town. So I've loved Iowa City for 25 years, and only moved here about 5 years ago because one of my best friends from college moved here and bought a house and was like, I don't know how to own a house. Will you come live in my house with me? And I said, sure. And then I found that the theater community here was really wonderful, and I got really involved. I'd been doing stuff in Chicago. I was an English major in college, but sort of a secret theater major. I'd been doing it in high school. I did it in college, but I didn't
Sure.
major in it. And then I came here. I did stuff in Chicago before I came here, and then I came here and was like, oh wow, this is a really great community with so much great theater to be doing. This is my first time working with Dreamwell, however, and I've been really delighted to work with everyone, especially Adrian and Rip here. They've been wonderful to be working with, and this has been a great show to be a part of.
Excellent, excellent. Adrian, would you please give us a brief idea of what this show is about and what drew you to want to direct it?
Sure. So when Matt Brubaker and I started talking about directing for this season, I really enjoy the works of Lauren Gunderson. And he actually did play this last season. And I said, I would love to do one of her shows. She does a lot of updated Shakespeare shows. And then he mentioned, well, what if it was a bigger show? What if it was something with more people? What if it wasn't our usual Dreamwell show where we have, 2 to 6 cast members? And I said, well, actually, Lauren Gunderson has one of those that's very interesting. And it's called The Book of Will. So The Book of Will is the very funny story of how we came to have the folio of Shakespeare's works and how he is still known today. After his passing, a couple of his friends realized without him and some of our best actors, no one will know about Shakespeare, so we should put them all in a book. And these friends happened to be one former actor and current manager of the King's Men, and one of the actors in the King's Men at the time. So that is the story of Rip, who is playing John, and Ray, who is playing Henry. The two of them are the friends who get together to make what we now know as Shakespeare.
Excellent, excellent. I see from the Dreamwell website that you have quite a large cast. How many are there?
So I believe we ended up with 18 cast members.
Oh my word, that is.
And there are, I believe, 26 roles.
Wow, wow. Well, we have 2 of them with us today, Rip and Ray. Would you each give us a brief description of your characters? Ray, let's start with you.
Sure. Henry Condell is, well, in real life, we know very little about him. We do know that he was a part of the King's Men, which was Shakespeare's theater company, and we know that he acted in a bunch of Ben Jonson's plays as well. But in the way that Lauren Gunderson has portrayed him and has characterized him in the play is he's very much an actor who has all of his emotions right on the surface. He's very active and impetuous and passionate and wants to just, has an idea and wants to run with it, and is really, really excited to, once they come up with this idea, to make this happen as a tribute to his best friend, Will Shakespeare, and as a thing that will last through the ages, past his performances that no one remembers. No one had, there's no, there's no historical memory now of his work in his life, his acting work in his life. This is his legacy as much as it is Will's. And he's just really interested in making this thing happen, and I just really love him as a character because of that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Ripper, how about you?
Well, I'm playing John Hemmings, various spellings of his last name. We've seen, and we know a little bit more about John. I think he came from a country background, not particularly wealthy, but he was sent to the city to become a grocer to learn that trade, in which his family has a grocery. He and his wife and family, but he became an actor alongside Ben and Henry and Burbage. With the King's Men, and actually acted in at least a couple of shows, from what I've understand, with Shakespeare himself. But for various reasons, which we don't really need to go into here, some of them a little bit on the personal side, he got out of the acting side of things and became more of a manager for the company, sort of working from the stage to the back office. And that becomes evident in the play a little bit. And his character is a little bit more reserved and a little bit more cautiously optimistic about the whole endeavor that they are moving forward with, because he is one of the things. He's the money man, so he sees everything through a filter of green. Can we do it? Can we do it? Oh, I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do it. So it's a nice compliment between the Henry and John, because they're both pursuing a goal. I mean, everybody is pursuing a goal in this play, and it's funny to see how they come at it, and what their obstacles to each of them are in the course of the play. But we complement each other well, I think, and so that's a little bit about John. He also owns the Globe Tap, which is associated with the theater, where everybody congregates afterwards. I know that's hasn't changed over the course of many centuries. Go out for a little drink afterwards. So he's a wonderful character, but it's a little bit of a glass half full, glass half empty story with those two characters, and it's fun to watch them meet in the middle for this common goal. And so it's a great deal of fun.
Excellent. Well, because the show is set in 17th century England, I'm assuming you're playing it as a period piece. So who designed your set and who was your costumer?
Great question. So yes, we are taking this play and really stripping it down to what is necessary. And for our set designer, we had Chris Shearer and Fenna Shearer worked in concert on that. And then for our costume design, we had Collie Brackey and Melissa Casca who worked in concert on that. Okay. Like we've said, it is a large show. We have, I believe, 7 to 8 different locations that we portray throughout the show. So that was definitely a challenge that my costumers and my set helped me overcome to make sure that we can make this the best show possible.
Sure. So just for those people who are not familiar with the show, what genre would you place it in? Drama, comedy, musical?
So it is what I would call a historical comedy. What has been interesting is, as someone who came to this play not really knowing the story and about how the first folio came to be, we did a lot of research. And through our research, we realized how much of the comedy in this show is what actually happened.
Oh.
And it does feel updated. It feels like something that could happen today if it weren't for the printing press.
Sure.
Yeah.
If we still had a printing press, this is the type of relationships that we have in our lives, and the type of people you would see on the street.
I will insert this here. One of the first jobs that I had, we did a lot of handouts and things like that. And I learned how to print them on a printing press. So it was very interesting. Oh. Yeah, that is very interesting. So you're in a relatively new location than you usually perform. Where is the show being produced?
So we're producing at the James Theatre. We will be their first fully produced show. Generally, they right now have a lot of smaller acts. And so we will be their first very large show with multiple set changes and all of that. So that's been, while a challenge, it's been really fun to think through, how can we make this in a space where we haven't been before? We're not familiar, but it also is significantly larger, of course, than the Artifactory where Dreamwell usually holds its shows. And that is absolutely something we couldn't do without. The space helps us be able to give rich fiction to the multiple sets that we're supposed to be on and the multiple locations that we access.
Okay, now where is the James Theatre located?
The James Theatre is the old Riverside Theatre space on Gilbert Street, right next to the Bluebird Theatre. Or sorry, the Bluebird Diner.
Okay, all right. And just so that people who have been there years ago and know that there were stairs to get in and out, is it now handicap accessible?
It is absolutely handicap accessible. They made a lot of updates for that. it would be helpful if you do need assistance with stairs. It would be good to reserve a ticket in that front row so that we avoid the stairs, because it does still have that raked seating like Riverside used to.
But getting in the front door is much easier now too. Used to be stairs to get
Yes.
into the building, and now they have a ramp.
Yes.
Yes, there's a ramp to the main door. And I think the side there was always a side door, I think, that we could get people in Riverside. But it's for me particularly, it's a wonderful space to be back in, because being at Riverside, I had done around 24 plays or so in that building, Riverside Productions in that building. And what Leslie and Mark Nolte have done with that space is just tremendous. And I saw Jody Clark the other day, and we were having a nice chat about the show and the space. And she's thrilled as well that we're going to be in there. But it has sort of a different look than Riverside. I mean, you can still see the bones of Riverside Theater when you go in there, but they've really done a nice job with the front of the lobby, redone that area. And of course, the backstage and the dressing rooms, there's actually a huge bathroom and 2 big dressing rooms downstairs. So it's eerily familiar, but it's
essential.
It's a wonderful space to be back into. And it's tremendous that we're able to do this. And they've been worked with us really, really well on this whole project to be in there. So it's great to be in that space.
All right. A lot of theaters in town. There are a lot of theaters in town, which is a wonderful thing. But not everyone has a permanent home. So if you could give us an idea of where Dreamwell is living at the moment, or where they have lived, or where they hope to live. After all, it is their 25th anniversary this year. So tell us about that.
This is Dreamwell's 25th anniversary. And as Ray and I spoke to someone else yesterday, and as Ray pointed out, this is the reason they're doing this production. One of the reasons. It's a large production. It's the 25th anniversary. Kind of wanted to do something special. And I remember seeing my first Dreamwell. Dreamwell is a theater of exploration, which I think means exploring new places to try to do a play. Because they had first done shows all over. I know the first play I saw with Dreamwell was in the Old Capitol Mall, one of the empty storefronts at one point. And then I did 2 or 3 shows with Dreamwell in 2010, 11, which those were located at the Unitarian Universalist Society, 10 South Gilbert, which is no longer, part of it is no longer there. So then they moved to the Wesley Foundation. So kind of like any other theaters in town, smaller theaters, you're always scrambling for a place. It'd be nice to have your own home, your own theater home. But Dreamwell has been lucky enough to stay afloat because of their great dedication and wonderful talent and the things that they've done. So, they'll just find a home where they can. But this is really extraordinary that we're able to the James Theater, because it's a beautiful space. And I'm all about collaboration. I mean, I've done enough theater in this town over the last 45 years with virtually all the theaters. And it always really pleases me when I see theaters come together to help each other out. So here, the James and a collaboration with Dreamwell, I think it's wonderful. I think we need more of that, because it benefits us all. So there you have it.
All right. Excellent answer to the question. Well, the COVID pandemic, and yes, I said that intentionally, created a number of difficulties for theaters around the country. While we are now finally coming out of that situation, we're not completely free of it. So what are you doing? What have you been doing to protect your cast, crew, and audience to keep them safe?
Great. So throughout the rehearsal process, we requested that our actors and crew wear masks throughout. And then we also did what are called the PCR tests. So Test Iowa provides free testing that can get back to you within 12 to 24 hours. So we were regularly testing throughout our rehearsal process.
Very good.
And then for the actual performances, we will have mandatory masking for all of our audience members, so we can keep from spreading any COVID that may come in the building.
Very good. So how would you rate this show if you need to, with regard to how appropriate it would be for younger viewers, say 13 and under?
So there is some strong language, but nothing egregious for sure. However, it is also a long show. It is about 2 hours and 10 minutes with a 10-minute intermission. So it depends on the attention span of the child, but the content is absolutely can be fit for all audiences.
All right, very good. For people who need to plan on babysitters, dinner reservations, rides to and from the theater, repeat, how long would the performance last?
So the performance lasts about 2 hours with a 10-minute intermission.
Okay, all right. And that, of course, depends upon how long the audience actually takes to go potty and get a drink. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an intermission, I'm assuming, with that 10 minutes? Yes, that is the intermission. Okay, so what are the run dates and what are the curtain times for each performance?
Great. So we run Thursday through Sunday, the 17th through the 20th. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will all start at 7:30. And then Sunday is a matinee at 2 o'clock.
Okay. How would someone go about getting tickets?
You can access tickets through the James Theater website or through Dreamwell's website.
Okay. All right. Now, if anybody had any questions that they would like to ask before they go, for instance, somebody's thinking of taking their child and they're not quite sure what you mean by nothing egregious, who could they contact and how to check that out?
They could certainly contact me, Adrian. So they could email at adrianmiller550@gmail.com.
All right.
And Adrian is ADRIENNE.
Adrian Miller 550 at gmail.com. Okay, you heard it here first, folks. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, again, the Book of Will is being produced by Dreamwell Theatre Company, and it's being performed at the James Theater, which is located in the old Riverside Theater facility at, on Market Street, around the corner from, on Gilbert.
Yep, Gilbert Street,
around the corner from Bluebird Diner. The performances are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, with the curtain rising at 7:30 p.m. And Sunday, November 20th, with the curtain rising at 2 p.m. Did I get that all correct? All right. Well, it's time to close the curtain on this interview. Thank you all again for being here today. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very informative, and I've had a great time and enjoyed our time together. I hope we can do another interview with you all soon. Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much for having
Bev.
us.
My pleasure.
The Green Room IC is an original production of KICI Radio in Iowa City. The host for this episode is Beverly Mead, with production by Craig Jarvie. Visit KICI's SoundCloud page to hear this and other Green Room IC interviews.